Hey everyone, I'm Peter Tsai, Head of Technology Insights at Spiceworks, and you're about to watch a demo of me going through a vibe coding session to give you a better idea of what the technology is all about in 2025. So this is not rehearsed at all. It was all kind of stream of consciousness. I wanted it to be very representative of what vibe coding is really like and what the real life experience is like. So apologies up front. The picture-in-picture technology I was using made the frame rate a little bit slower than it would have been in person. So as we're playing the game, just be aware of that. The actual gameplay was a lot smoother. And also I was interpreting the code live. So I haven't coded in about 15 years, but I do have a degree in computer science, and I used to work as a coder for many years, but have not touched a compiler in like 15 years. So I might be a little bit rusty, but I think this demo will show you how powerful a vibe coding tool is in empowering somebody like myself who has been out of the game for a long time, but is now using these new LLM tools to create applications very quickly. And if you have a fundamental understanding of how code works, and you can understand computer logic, I think you can create some very simple applications very quickly. So let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy this demo on vibe coding. So what we're gonna do to start off, I'm just going to tell Gemini to create the app that I want. And in this case, I'm going to create a fun game. So I'm gonna tell Gemini to create a game sort of like Pong and see where that gets us. All right, here we go. All right, create a game similar to Pong where a human user plays against a computer player. Let's see what we get. All right, and as you can see, in just maybe 15 or 20 seconds, it starts to spit out code. It's thinking right now, and you can see the code generate in real time. And usually this takes about 1 minute to create the code. I think it's compiling it in the back end, and once it's completed compiling, we'll get a preview window and we can actually play what is created. So here's what we get initially. It will allow us to play right here. So, okay, so it's giving me some mouse input. I can move around the ball. Fully functioning Pong, just like you know it. And yeah, the computer player is actually quite good. I haven't scored a single point on it yet. Okay, but I've noticed a couple things. I can't use the keyboard for input, and the ball is way too fast. So I'm going to prompt Gemini and using the canvas tool, asking it to tweak some of the parameters of the game to just show everybody what that's all about. So going back over to the window here, I'm going to say, I want to be able, let me move this over so you all can see. I want to be able to use the arrow keys to move the paddle. Also, the computer player is too good, and I can't beat it. Okay, so just using simple English. So English is the new programming language. If you want to vibe code completely just through prompting, you can also go directly into the code and edit it. But let's see what we get with this pretty simple prompt and see what changes we get to the app. All right, so if you can't read that, it says I can definitely add keyboard controls and make the computer opponent a little bit easier to beat. So Gemini and Canvas, they use JavaScript to code the game. So it says I'll just adjust the JavaScript to listen for arrow keys. So there's going to be a listener that will detect when you push the arrow keys, and it'll tweak the computer's AI to make it less responsive, giving it a better chance for me to score. Now here's the updated code. So both of those things should be in place now. So let's see. All right. Yes, I'm using my keyboard now, and I can see that it is working. Let's see. I guess I scored 2 points already. 3. All right. Oh yeah. So okay, let's see what happens. Okay, 5-4. So it's letting us go. The game is going to 5 points, and whoever gets there fastest wins. I think right now the balls are a little too fast, so I'll say slow down the balls a little bit, and then I'm going to ask it to put a title at the top of the screen so that we can customize this a little bit. So slow down the balls a little bit, add a title at the top of the game that says spicy, I don't know, spicy Pong or Spiceworks Pong. How about that? And let's say in orange text. Let's say retro 8-bit orange text. Okay, let's see what that gets us. Okay, so it says no problem. I can slow the ball down for you and add the awesome retro title for you and adjust the initial speed of the ball with the 8-bit styling you requested. So should probably take about 20-30 seconds. That's been the trend. It's a pretty simple program. So let's see what we get. So at the top you see Spiceworks Pong. It says restart to play, and let's see where it gets us. So I'm using my mouse, and I'm also using the keyboard keys. Okay, so this is pretty manageable. I think this is a pretty fun game. I don't like how the ball was resetting so quickly, so I might ask it to do that a little bit slower. Change the game dynamics a little bit because the ball just regenerates way too fast. And then I think before I'm done with this, I'm going to change what the ball looks like, and I am going to change some colors and see where it gets me. Yeah, that's way too fast. So maybe I'll have it count down or something before it launches a new ball at the beginning of the point. But okay. All right, I'll let the computer win so we can get back. Okay, so the computer wins. Let's say when the ball regenerates after a point is scored, have a slight delay so that players can be ready for the ball. Currently, the ball regenerates too quickly. All right, let's see where that gets us. We're almost done here. The reply says, you've got it. It's a great suggestion for improving the game's flow. A quick pause after scoring will definitely make it feel more natural and give you a moment to get ready. All right, I'll modify the code to freeze the ball in the center of the screen for 1 second after the point is scored before the next round begins. All right, so let's see what that gets us. All right, so here we go. Let's see the changes. All right, and we did notice a pause there. All right, let's let it score. Okay, there is a pause. Yeah, so that's much more playable. Okay. All right, let's let the computer win. And let's do some more cosmetic tweaks here. I think I'm going to change the color of the screen and we'll add some more text at the top. So, okay. So change the color of the court to make it green. And let's add some additional text below Spiceworks Pong to give some instructions. Okay, so let's say use your mouse or the arrow keys to move first to 5 wins. All right. Okay, that says excellent ideas. A green court will give it a nice classic arcade feel, and adding instructions is a great touch for new players. I'll update some code. Going to make it dark green and add some instructional text. And I think I'll do a few more rounds of changes just so you can see how the refinement process goes. And I'll do some direct code editing as well, so we can check that out too. All right, so now it looks very much like a tennis court. Let's see, and they added the text above that says use your mouse or arrow keys to move, first to 5 wins. So, all right, let's play. All right, looking pretty good. And let's see if this still works. Yeah, it still pauses a little bit. All right, let's let the computer win. All right, so let's look at some direct code editing. So I see it did not capitalize the U in use your mouse. So let me go in there. I'll search for the word use. And you can see you can directly edit the text here. So let's say use the mouse or arrow keys to move first to 5 wins. All right, so that's a really quick change. Shouldn't take long. Right here, use the mouse or arrow keys to move. I didn't even need to recompile the code. So that was easy to do. Let's see, what else? How about we do something fun like let's have, instead of just a single ball, have 2 balls at all time. So let's say change the gameplay to create 2 balls at once during the game at all times. Let's see what it gives us. I'm not going to give it a lot of instructions. Let's just see how it interprets my prompt. So I don't know if it's going to add a new ball immediately every time a point is scored, or if it's going to wait for both balls to disappear. We'll just see how Gemini and Canvas interpret that. So he said, that's a fantastic idea. Adding a second ball will make the game so much more challenging and chaotic, which is what I was going for. I'll update the game's logic to manage and render 2 balls simultaneously. Each ball will move and bounce independently, and if one goes off screen, only that ball will reset after a brief pause and the other continues to play. Okay, let's see. Let's see how fun this is. It might be crazy. It might be really, really good. But I think this will be much more interesting than just standard Pong. So here we go. Let's go. All right, so we got 1 ball. Whoa. Okay, here we go. Yep, 2 balls. Oh, this is pretty cool. All right. First 2. All right. First to 5 still wins. I'm assuming I win. Okay, so maybe that's really cool. I see that the computer AI is actually not that good now. So I'm going to ask it to make the computer AI a little bit better and see where that goes. And I think that'll be our final iteration. So make the computer AI player more intelligent. All right. So I won that game 5-1 quite easily because I don't think the AI was able to track both balls at the same time. So hopefully by making it really good again, this will be more of a fun game. And we can perhaps dive deeper into the code as our last step to understand the inner workings of this. So if you've already got experience with computer coding, you can directly manipulate that. In some of the other games that I've created, you can see a lot of the variables on the back end that control various aspects of the game, from the timing to what each of the game components looks like, to just the point scoring system. All of these things you can edit directly in code. Okay, so it said, I'll make the AI opponent better and it'll raise the stakes. So let's see. I'll increase the computer player's reaction speed. It'll still track the closest ball, but the paddle will move more accurately. So let's see if I can still trick it very easily. All right, so here we go. It's still pretty slow. It's tracking the closest ball. Okay. It's not that great though. Maybe I'll say we can increase the speed of the computer player. I'm still beating it by a lot. So the AI seemed to be really good for one ball, but for two, I can beat it quite easily. So let's go into the code directly and see if we can find what variables are influencing the computer's AI. So here you can see a lot of different variables. So here you can see winning score is 5. I think I can change that quite easily to maybe 7 without prompting, and let the game will be the first to 7 wins. So you can see there's a variable here called velocity X and velocity Y, which will control the speed of the ball. You can even see you can change the size of the ball here directly, X, Y, and radius. So radius will probably increase the size here if you want to reverse engineer what the computer's written. They have a function to draw the net, to draw some circles. All right, ball velocity, when it resets, the velocity is 2, and you can see there's some variables controlling the size of the ball. Here's what happens when the ball collides with something. All right, so there's a function here to check if the game is over after every point, because it looks to see if the score is at the winning score, which I just set to 7. So first it checks to see if I won, the player, and then it checks to see if the computer won. And then we have just, these are the listeners checking for the keyboard presses and for the mouse. We also have, this is the main loop where it just starts the game and then creates all of the objects that are used in the game. So yeah, let's see. Let me look around. Okay, here's the function that controls the AI. So let the closest ball, okay, so you can see Gemini has even commented in the code. So this is not actual code, it's just a comment telling you what the code's doing, saying you can change this computer level variable to make the AI more intelligent. So from 0.5 to 0.05 to 0.08 to make the AI faster. Apparently it's at its highest level right now at 0.08, according to the comments, but maybe we can tweak that. So you can see it's, if you know how to code and you understand how to read through a program, it's pretty easy to edit these things directly. So, okay. So if you'll remember, here we go, ball speed. Okay, so I'll increase the ball speed to 7 to, let's see what happens. And I also increase the winning score to 7. So let's see how that affects the gameplay. Whoa, that's way too fast. But as you can see, the direct code edits seem to be, the changes take effect much more quickly than if you prompt Gemini to change something. If you just do it yourself, the changes are quite easy. And there's a weird bug. Okay, I won, but you saw the ball got stuck at the top, so that was kind of weird. Okay, so it did go first to 7. The balls were much quicker. So I was able to manipulate that by myself, but I did not like the speed variable being at 7. Maybe 6 is more appropriate. And let's see if we can make the computer more intelligent. So it says that 0.08 is the max value, but I'm going to see if I can break something. Let's say 0.2. See what happens here. See if it becomes much more intelligent. No, I don't think it is, but okay. Okay. But this is the basics. You can do a lot of different things. You can edit the code directly. You can change fundamentally how the computer player works. Uh, and as you can see, I'm just using plain English for the most part, at least to get the game set up. If I had to code this myself, I would have to do a lot of this by hand, would have to figure out the logic, would have to create all these listeners to look for the keyboard inputs and the mouse inputs. I would have had to figure out how to draw all of the elements like the paddle and the ball. All of that's just done for me instantly, saving hours or maybe even days of time. And then if I want to make a major change, I can just tell the computer, tell Gemini what I want to happen, and it'll do that for me. So I'll just do one last example. Make the ball twice as big and make it yellow, and then increase the intelligence of the computer player even more. Okay, so we should have a yellow ball, a much bigger one, so maybe that'll make it easier for the computer player to hit the ball. And then I'm going to ask it to be even more intelligent, and then we'll look at the code to see what actually changed. Okay, so it's talking about computer reaction speed. So previously it was just tracking the ball, but it wasn't going so quickly. So maybe there's going to be a new variable for the speed at which the computer paddle is going to be able to track. We'll check that out, see what differences we can spot. All right, let's just try it out. Wow, it's a lot bigger. All right, so here we go. Okay, I'm still beating this thing quite well. Quite handily, I should say. Okay. Then it reset the winning score back down to 5. I think maybe because I implemented that directly in the code, it reverted that back. I don't know if it does that every time you prompt. It just goes back to the previous version that you prompted for, but we'll check it out. So let's look at the computer AI. Okay, so here you can see it says previously the comment said you can increase the computer level from 0.05 to 0.08, with 0.08 being the toughest computer opponent. Now it's increased that to 0.1. So that's interesting. So that was the tweak it made. And you can still see that the computer AI is tracking the closest ball. But I'm going to see what happens if I ask the AI to have the computer AI track which ball is going to reach the paddle first, or which ball is going to reach the end of the court first. And we'll see if it adds a whole new section of code to account for that. So, okay, change the computer player's AI to track which ball will reach the end of the court first, instead of tracking the closest ball. Because sometimes if a ball is bouncing up and down, it's not going to reach the end of the court first, especially if there's two balls and you hit one more directly towards the end of the court. So, okay, so change the computer player's AI to track which ball will reach the end of the court first, instead of tracking the closest ball. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, that's a great way to make the AI more strategic. Instead of just reacting to the nearest threat, it will now anticipate the play. Okay, so AI is supposed to be more intelligent here. I'll update the computer's AI logic to calculate which of the two balls will reach the side of the court first, and then move to intercept that specific ball. This predictive approach will make it a much more challenging opponent. So you can see Gemini really understood what I said, even though the way in which I described it probably wasn't perfect. It interpreted exactly what my intent was. So let's see how that goes. All right, looks like it's done. So let me hit preview and see if it can handle multiple balls better. All right, yeah, it is indeed a better opponent. Okay, yeah, it is beating me now. So I used to be able to just bounce a ball off the side and it wouldn't be able to track it, but now it is really good. So just this one logic change has improved the quality of the AI player immensely. And I don't think I'm going to beat it because the computer has better reaction time than me. I haven't scored a single point. Ooh. Okay, so I think I made the computer player a little too good by altering its algorithm, but you can definitely see how easy it has been to adjust gameplay elements. In the past, when I used to do coding, you would have to do all this manually and kind of figure out how to do all of these. Okay, it beat me 5-1. All of these gameplay elements you would have to figure out how to do on your own. But now I just use plain English, tell Gemini how I want the computer player to react, and it will automatically code a lot of these elements into the game. So here you can see predictive computer AI. This is a new section. Okay, it has a new section in the code where it calculates the velocity of the ball coming at it to see which ball is actually going to reach it first. And then it says that is now the target ball. So you can see what the distance is from the ball to the paddle. And then it will then calculate which ball is the target ball. And if it doesn't, I believe it revert. Okay, I can just read the comments. If there are incoming balls, find the one that'll arrive first. If there are no balls incoming, fall back to tracking the one that is closest. So the old method. So use the new method first. If that doesn't really yield results, use the original method that the AI was using, and then move the paddle towards the target ball at all times. So it's constantly tracking whichever ball it thinks is going to come first. All right, I think I'll end it here. I think I've given a pretty good demo that has shown how easy it is to set up a game, to get it to a fundamental starting point. It would have saved me many hours or even days of coding. And then from there, you can unleash your creativity just using prompts to tell the game or tell the LLM what you want changed. And it's an iterative process from there, just like it is in real coding. But I think getting from an idea to a finished product or seeing your ideas play out on the screen, it's a much faster process than it used to be before, because you've abstracted a lot of the coding away, letting the LLM handle that. And there's really almost no lag between your idea and then implementing it. And then the iteration, the iteration time has dropped significantly. So you have an idea, tell the LLM what to do. About a minute later, you see that change. And if you like it, you can keep it. If you don't like it, you can keep telling in this case, Gemini or Copilot or Claude or ChatGPT or whatever tool you're using. You can just keep telling it to refine the game until you get it to how you want it. And then if the prompting doesn't work very well, you can, if you understand how to code, just go directly into the code and edit, as you've seen me do a couple of times. All right, thank you for watching this video, and I hope that gives you a better idea of how to vibe code.